From the Oregon Mountains to all the Mesilla Valley, reaching all of New Mexico. Broadcasting live from the Las Cruces studios, bringing you the issues that matter and the topics that count. Telling it like it is. It's the Mike Tellez Show. And now here's your host, Mike Tellez.
Thank you for joining us today. My name is Mike Tellez. Thank you for joining us. Today we have a retired police officer. He doesn't look old enough to have retired, but he says he retired, and he didn't retire just from any police department. He retired from the Philadelphia Police Department.
Correct. Philly.
And you know, that's a pretty harsh, rough place, man.
It was interesting. I started when I was 19 years old.
19 at the police department.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
my
Germantown
goodness.
Lehigh was my first beat. I was in
That's
a black
a tough
ghetto.
one, man.
Oh, yeah. It was a ghetto, black ghetto, and a white kid in a black ghetto.
Wow.
But it was interesting.
Did you get to know a lot of people?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. A lot of the folks that I worked with, and they were all black, they were protecting me. They had my back when I'd be on the street by myself walking
And you
the
walked
beat.
the beat?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you walked the beat.
I walked the beat. I had a state store. I had a movie
like
theater.
that.
I had a Sunray drugstore. I had
So
all
just like
kinds of
on the
business.
movies, you're walking around, you got your billy club
Yeah,
hanging,
yeah.
you're just walking up and down, just keeping peace.
That's right. That's right. And it is a deterrent.
You don't, can that happen today, or is it too dangerous?
Oh, I don't think it's too dangerous. I think really that's the way we should do community policing. But it's going to take money and it's going to take support of the police, which
And it's
we do
going
not
to take
have.
more officers than we have.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we're down 50 officers out of a 200-man force. Mike, crime rates doubled, the violent crimes doubled, and we
sure
are down 25% of our police.
It sure
But the
has.
city council is hiring city employees, but not police. And to offer $18 an hour to a policeman, I mean...
Do you know that I saw that they are offering all these bonus incentives to sign up, but you know, I think more than anything else, I think the problem is the attitude they have towards policemen.
Absolutely.
Who's going to work for a place that doesn't like you?
Or wants to
We're going
arrest
to give you a job, we'll give you this bonus, we'll give you this package, which is decent, but understand, we don't like you, we're going to watch you, and if you pull your gun out, we're going to be on you, and God forbid you shoot somebody defending yourself, we're going to try you for murder before you're ever proven guilty.
That's
you'll be tried.
2 strikes against them right off the bat.
So who's going to work there?
Oh,
I would not work there.
And even if you are working there, are you really going to do the job the way it should be done?
No,
Are you
you're
going to
not.
stick your neck out for
Hey,
somebody?
we see what's happening in cities like New York.
Oh,
They quit doing that. So now look at crime is rampant. Now look here. We've got to believe that a shortage of police officers. You know, the former police chief told me, said, man, if we could just get 20 cars to where everyone would have a car, would be happy. They were short 70. That's the number I heard.
wow.
He said 20 cars. They don't even have enough police cars for the...
Well,
them.
you know, Las Cruces isn't that big of a city.
No, it isn't.
So if you had policing on the street level, like I was as a street cop, you've got to have more police to do that. You've got to cover all the areas. But there's another thing, too. You've got all these calls coming in. If you're going to have a policeman handle a job that could be done by a social worker or somebody that's an interim person that doesn't take actual police duties to where you might have to arrest somebody, let them take care of that administrative stuff. But let the police do what they do best, which is fight crime.
You know that I was talking to a policeman, and this would be at the end of February. This is 2 years ago. And I said, you know, I always thought that you all just weren't doing your job until I found out how many calls you get a year.
Yeah.
I said, I read where you get 3,800 calls a year to answer to. And he said, 3,800? And I said, yeah, is that correct? He said, this is in February, end of February. He said, we've gotten 3,800 calls this year so far.
Yeah, that's in 2
And
months.
that's February.
In 2 months. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. No.
You know, that's 100 calls a day.
No, I hear you.
And so, you know, when you're shorthanded, you're swamped. You know, in the restaurant business, when on Sundays, that was used to be the biggest day, if we were not properly staffed, we could not possibly serve the guests the way
Sure.
we're supposed to.
Makes
And
sense.
it'd cause a problem. It'd be chaos. And, you know, shorthanded in a restaurant, you're going to blow it. Imagine being shorthanded every single day of the week in a police force.
Well, and you put your police at risk. How many policemen have been shot lately?
Oh, man, I'm telling you.
And really, I talked to a state police captain. I said, you need two-man patrol or two-person patrol. You got to have somebody watching your back because they'll take you out, and they have been. So if you, all this money that's spent, now here's the hook, Mike. The federal government offers so much money to local police departments. But when you do that, then the federal government tells you how to run your police department.
Yeah.
If you take that away and you have enough money to cover two-person patrols, you're not going to have funerals for policemen. You're not going to have as much crime as you have. Our crime rate has doubled, and they don't have enough police. So people say that, oh, we're not defunding the police. The hell you're not defunding police. If you're not hiring them, you're defunding them.
That's right. Well, you know, we had Angelica Rubio. She was at one of these meetings, and they were talking about police. And she said, I'm for funding, but not the police. And I said, you're not for funding the police?
So
well, who are you going to fund? They want to fund
social services?
Social workers that'll go to the door. Well, you know, I'd like to ask all these representatives that don't believe in the police, are they willing to go to a call alone and handle it?
When I was working the street,
even 2 or 3 of them. Send 3 of them to the house.
And what are they going to handle?
Yeah.
Domestic disputes, because that's where most of the violence
You know what?
is.
They're not going to handle very much. That's for sure.
And they're not going to be staying on the job. I'll guarantee that. You know, a typical job. You get a call, domestic dispute. You go in. The husband's beating up the wife. So you take out the husband, and now the wife jumps on your back. So it's a big Donnybrook. Everybody's fighting, and you're going to send social workers in to do that?
Well, that's what our representatives think.
That's it.
And you know, the representatives, and you know what? I don't like mentioning names. I don't like mentioning Angelica Rubio as one of the representatives. And I don't like mentioning Doreen Gallegos as another representative. I don't mention names. So I'm not going to mention their names. But I'm going to tell you something.
I think he just did.
They're the ones who don't believe in funded police.
What they need to do is do a ride-along with police for about a week and see what it's all about.
You know what they do? Do a ride-along, and when the policeman goes to a call, let them go to the door first.
Sure. Well.
Yeah. No, you know what? The only way that these people are going to know what's going on is if they actually get in the shoes of the police officer. They give the uniform and everything, walk up and watch what they're facing.
Sure.
I'm going to tell you something. This is what I'm seeing. This is how bad it is. At the Dream Center, I went to the restroom for a minute. I came out and this girl went in there and walked in, grabbed my briefcase, and took off right out the door. I ran out that door, and that's so brazen. Yeah. I went out the door, and fortunately, I am so blessed. I have neighbors that know who I am, know what I do, and they back me.
Right.
So she went over there. This person, I went over there. I said, "You took my briefcase." "No, I didn't. No, I didn't." So she went to the neighbor and said, "Mike accused me of taking his briefcase." And Emma says, "Someone took his briefcase? Who would steal from him?" Says, "Well, I saw 2 guys run past by your backyard." And she said, "Well, I heard my dogs barking, so I'm going to go back there and look." So she goes in and gets her steel cane and says, "I'm going to go back." And she said, "Well, don't go back there because it's dangerous." And she said, "I'm going back there." And she went back there, and sure enough, that briefcase was thrown over the wall to where they could come back and get it.
There you go.
And you know that my neighbor, oh, God bless her, her name's Emma, and she was so upset at them stealing like that.
Yeah.
And you know, she was so upset, it looked like she was almost in tears. Why would they steal with you? You give them this
How much
everything,
you do for the community.
Take care of them,
I
you
know.
give them the shirt off your back, and they stole. I'm going to let her know what I think. I'm going to tell her something. So that's okay, we got it. She says, "I can't believe." But you know what? I'm blessed because I have neighbors now that stick up for me. And you know what? It's crazy is they're ladies. The ladies in these houses.
They're the powerhouse.
So they see somebody going in, they'll call me, "Mike, someone's in the back," and I know they're walking out with more than they came in with, and they'll call me right away, and I'll go over there, and they will go out there and say something.
I found that same thing when I was walking a beat. The folks were backing me up because they knew my heart was to protect them, just like yours is.
You bet, and I am throughout that neighborhood. You know what? Our neighborhood is a bad neighborhood, but I can walk through that entire neighborhood anytime, day or night, and not feel fear. But you know what? I also believe God is with me. Jesus Christ is with me. So,
Oh, me too.
you know, I think that walking the beat, what a deal. I saw him walking around the downtown area.
Okay. Yeah,
And that's a
you'd
start.
get to know people then.
If we could get our neighborhood, each officer to ride the bike at least and get to know all those
They're
people.
so short-handed though, Mike.
You know that on my block, I try to think of who's bad, and I cannot think of a bad person on my whole block.
Huh, that's nice.
Even the guys who are, they look like gangsters, I'll go up and talk to them, and you know what I'll do? I'll say, those are some nice tires on your car, man. And they'll start talking. Man, that's a nice, they are so friendly.
Okay.
Now, why don't we get our police, enough police, to hit neighborhood patrols hard on foot or on bike, but put someone in every single neighborhood and said, that's your neighborhood.
I think civilians do want the police there. They do appreciate the
Yes,
police,
they
because
do.
I've heard from the state police captain, he says there's so many people that just say thank you for
You bet.
protecting us. It's the city administration that
That's
does
right.
not back up
It
the
is our
police.
political leaders that don't like the police. They don't understand that they're on the wrong side of the equation.
Mike, I don't even think they care. I think they're being told by their handlers, you have to be behind Black Lives Matter, you have to be behind Antifa, you have to be defund the police. I don't think they
and
think
you
for
know what I tell
themselves.
them? I say, you know what? Why don't you just be behind the city you represent?
Absolutely.
Be behind our community. Be behind the residents. You know, the city buses, you know they retire them after so long.
Okay.
Well, when I ran for mayor, I said, why don't we get those city buses and convert each one into a mobile command center?
Ooh.
Now, we get that bus, we get it converted to a mobile patrol. They're not paying that outrageous price for a bus because we already have it. They've got the workers that are capable of doing a lot of the work and go throughout and get those things set up as mobile command.
That's a great idea.
Then you say you've got 5 city buses. Well, you know what? Park those in 5 worst areas of town, and that's the command centers.
And if the area crime moves from one place to another, you move the mobile center.
That's
That's a
right.
great idea.
We get another bus, put it over there.
That's a great idea.
And give it to where the neighborhood can go visit. The police are right there, and you don't want that feel safe.
Load them up with beat police,
Yep.
and they can work that area.
That's right. And then we have new officers. Well, you know, why don't we, as a city, we have, you know, we're giving away a lot of money. In fact, we want to pay people just because they're poor.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what we do with some of that money? When we hire a policeman, let's say, okay, you know, well, we're going to train you and get you equipped, get you where you got it down. Your neighborhood's going to be over there. Now, this is a bonus. We are going to rent you a house in your neighborhood.
Wow.
We're going to furnish it. We're going to pay the rent. We're going to get the utilities done. We're going to take care of your full housing expense.
Wow. Now that's
And we're going to put you, that's where you're going to live, in your beat.
that's an incentive.
And you're going to live right there.
I like
And
that.
we're going to pay it. And we're going, but we put you in the neighborhood you're assigned to. We pay for your rent.
Wow.
And you know what? The policeman lives there. And you know, one gentleman was telling me, he said, well, I was talking it over, and they'd be scared to death. And I said, well, how do you think we feel?
That's true.
I said, you know, let's make it to where these people, let's find creative way. You know what we need to do? Throw the box away. When we come back, we're going to talk to a Philly cop, a Philly beat cop, and we're going to talk a little bit more about what we can do in our city to bring crime down. Maybe even ask him if he'll go over there and show us how it's done. When we return with the Mike Tellez Show, my name is Mike Tellez.
When the school board mismanages its financial and fiduciary obligations, does not respect the will of the community, and pursues misguided policies not reflective of the community, we lose our trust and our parents deserve more. School board members are accountable for the regulations and policies they pursue. As these regulations and policies are debated, full transparency must occur in the deliberations with parents and the community. Trust is earned when the school board demonstrates its adherence to the will of the community. Join me in restoring accountability and transparency. I'm Eloy Francisco Macha, School Board District 3.
Paid for by Macho for LCBS.
Welcome back to the Mike Tellez Show. My name is Mike Tellez, and we have our special guest, Dave Gallus, the Philly beat cop.
Yep.
Man, Dave, I love that. I can envision it, and I love the way that looks walking the beat around here.
Yeah, I had 2 blocks in a real high crime area in a black ghetto, Germantown Avenue from Lehigh Avenue to Somerset to Cambria. And we had a lot of businesses along there, and actually the neighbors were so supportive after they knew that me and my partner, when I had a partner occasionally, were there for them.
And you treated them like human beings.
Absolutely.
We're all equal, man.
Absolutely. They were poor folks.
Yeah.
But they treated me like gold. They would invite me in their house for dinner. I mean, it was good. It was a good relationship that we had.
You know what? That's what we need here in Las Cruces. I can see it. The aesthetics of just seeing it gets me excited, man.
Well, we can do that.
That's, you know what? We need the right people in office.
That's the
And you
key
know what
right
it
there.
takes? We need to get off our butts and go vote for the right, understand the candidates.
Well, we got elections coming up this November, but early voting starts October 5th. We got to get out to vote.
And
That's
have
where
you
our
talked to
power
any
is.
of the candidates? Do they believe like we believe in taking care of the safety of our city first?
Absolutely. Bev
Crime
Courtney,
take care of the crime?
Bev Courtney, Ronnie
I
Cisneros,
love
William
Bev
Bierman.
Courtney.
They are all about
I like
supporting
William
the police.
Bierman. I like all those guys.
And Ronnie Cisneros, a good group of people, powerful, support the
And
police.
you know, we do have good candidates. Ronnie's running. Robert, he's a good friend of mine. But let's just vote. And you know what? When
That's
you
the
see
whole
those
point.
candidates, ask them, what is your stance on protecting us?
Sure.
What is your stance on backing the police and getting them the resources they need, no matter what it takes?
Mike, we got a double violent crime rate. It's doubled over the
easily.
last couple years.
Easily. Well, there was another on Sunday.
I heard
Another
about
homicide.
shootings. The one fella had his head cut off, and the fellow was using his head as a soccer ball at
You
Apodaca
know
Park.
what? It used to be, we only heard about that happening in third world countries.
Well, it's in Las
Welcome
Cruces.
to Las Cruces.
Yeah, and the people that think they're immune to this, like maybe
not.
out in the rich areas,
They
no,
are not.
that's where the money is. That's where the crime's
And
going
you
to
know
go.
what? That's where they're going to go in there and do home invasions is another one.
That's the money. That's it. Now, these people that do this are deranged or they're on drugs. They have to get money.
Yeah.
They'll do whatever they have
You know
to
what?
do.
I've interviewed them for the last 2 months. Oh my goodness, what they will do for, the guy I interviewed on the blues, how
Yeah, I
people will
remember
go
that.
and steal and do whatever it takes to get a blue. They're $10 a pill. And I said, wow, so they got to raise $10, $20 for one or two? He said, yeah. Well, I'm told by someone else, these guys smoke 10 and 20 a day.
Whoa.
That's 100 or 200.
Well.
Now, to steal $100 worth, to get $100 worth of product, you better have $1,000 worth of merchandise.
And that's stolen
Dave,
merchandise.
you're talking about stolen merchandise. You're
Yeah.
talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a day.
Mike, you know how many people we would go and it would be a burglary. It would start out as a burglary. Then the homeowner might still be in the house and they don't realize it. The homeowners end up dead. Or the homeowner comes back and surprises the burglar who doesn't really want to do anything except take merchandise, but he feels like he's cornered. They kill the people.
Wow.
It's like, it's
And
not,
you know what?
it's not just petty
Nobody's
crime.
exempt.
No.
Look what happened in Florida.
Okay.
On this last week, there's a man who walked in and killed everyone. The kids, the mother holding the baby, killed everyone in the house, and they captured him. But, this happened outside of Lakeland.
Okay.
And they had the sheriff of sheriffs, Sheriff Grady.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that guy is tough. We need.
Okay.
That's what kind of people we need. They need
Yeah.
to go on YouTube and look up the Sheriff Grady up there in around Lakeland area.
Okay.
Polk County.
Ah.
That sheriff. He said, I ask my residents here, arm yourself and protect yourself.
Real police want
They break into your house. You need to protect your family. Arm yourself. And he told people when there was rioting and they're threatening to go into the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
He said, I'm going to warn you right now, our residents are armed. And they've been told to shoot. They're going to blow you right back out of the house. You go breaking into their house. Yeah. We got to get off this kick where guns are the evil thing. Guns are evil. Police are evil. My goodness, the things that we use to protect ourselves are now evil.
It's only going to change when the people that support taking guns away or defunding the police, when they're victimized, they do a whole turnaround.
It is. And you know what? That's our constitutional right.
Of course it is.
And you know, one thing I've always loved about Bev Courtney is she believes in that with all her heart.
Well, she's a concealed carry instructor.
Yeah. And you know what? She believes that we need to protect ourselves.
Absolutely.
And that's why I like her.
Who wouldn't want to protect themselves
And you
or
know
their
what?
family?
We got to understand that we need people in office here that will protect our constitutional rights. That's why I back Bev Courtney, and that's why I like her. Because she'll back our rights.
Absolutely.
She believes in she's a constitutionist.
Yes, she is.
And she believes as long as you're following the Constitution, I'm fine. But you know what? We need people in there that only back the Constitution, not what anyone else thinks or says or all these new flavors of the day. We need real candidates who back the Constitution. That's all we ask.
Well, Mike, this is one time, this November, we have strong candidates that will back the Constitution. All of them. Even in the school board, we have people that are constitutionalists.
I love Abel.
Eloy Macha, Abel Balcazar.
I love our candidates for school board.
Henry Young.
Henry Young. I
Yes.
love Henry. Henry's a good friend of mine. But I love our candidates on school board. Man, we need to get out there and get them in there.
All we need is people to vote.
That's right.
Realize, folks.
Vote, 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 vote. That's what they need to do.
That's it. I know it.
Protect our children. Vote for those people. Henry Young, Macha, and Abel. What's Abel?
Balcazar.
Abel Balcazar. Sorry.
Abelardo Balcazar.
Abelardo Balcazar. Vote for him.
Yes.
And you know what? Don't take my word for it. Ask him. Go to his site.
Absolutely.
Invite him to your house to talk to your community.
As a matter of fact, Mike, tomorrow night, Thursday night at the Grapevine, 6 p.m., folks, if you're there, you'll see all the candidates, and also David Clements is going to be there.
Go to the Grapevine.
Grapevine,
that's on
6
Picacho.
p.m.,
It's a beautiful
West
place.
Picacho, yes.
It's right behind that Pickwick on Picacho. It's right
Just past
before
the post
Picacho
office.
Hills.
Yes, just
Right
past the post office.
Go there and talk to our school board candidates. Go talk to the candidates.
And the city council.
You know what? And I'm going to tell you, I'm challenging you right now. Ask them the tough questions. Are you going to back us? Are you on our side? Are you on our side when it comes to protecting our neighborhoods, protecting our children, and protecting what they're learning in school? And I'm going to tell you, I've asked those candidates hardcore. And they have absolutely committed. This is who we are. That's what our goal is.
You know what, Mike? I just got to thinking this is going to air on Saturday, so this will be after. The people won't be seeing it tomorrow night, but there will be more. There will be more.
Maybe we could get a commercial going or something, but you know what? You've got to back our candidates.
Vote, folks. You have to vote. That's your power.
Vote. And if you need to register, it's easy enough to do.
Yes.
If you need help registering, go to the Mike Tellez Show at gmail.com. Send me, I will send you information of where you can go, and I might even give you numbers of people that'll go to your house and register. You can't get better than that.
Absolutely.
Hey, this is for the neighbors, the neighborhood committees. Get your neighborhoods together. Get them inside the living room of someone's house. If you need to, I'll let you borrow the Dream Center. Go there and call your candidates and ask them questions right there. Invite them to your neighborhood. It's time for us to wake up. We can't sit on our hands anymore. Invite them to your neighborhood and say, this is our neighborhood. Are you going to protect these houses too? Ask them. And if they don't commit to what you're looking for, well, then you need to look again. But you need to start, hey, we cannot depend on them knocking on our doors all the time. Because you know what? You and I both know they ain't going to answer. I've knocked on 1,000 doors, and I'm going to tell you, people don't like answering. Well, you know what? It's time for you to knock on their door because they are representing you. Mm-hmm. They're asking and begging you to give them 2 seconds to talk to you, and we won't answer the door. Well, you know what? Go knock on their door. Call them and invite them to gatherings. Get your neighbors together at your house. And you know what? If you're sick and tired of the crime in your area, if you're sick and tired of what you see, call your candidates and invite them in. You've got to invite them in. And you know what? I'm going to tell you, I would call Dave Gallus right here and ask him, what do we do about neighborhood patrol? Hey, he set up that. He knows what that's about. We got a resource right here who will probably do it for free. Sorry, Dave. He'll go help you set up a neighborhood watch in your community. Contact me at MikeTellezShow@gmail.com, and I'll get Dave to go over there and show you how to set up that neighborhood watches.
Be glad to.
How to get your neighborhood safe.
Sure.
Then we'll go talk to our policemen, who I support 100%. I love our police force. I've met a lot. The police chief, you can't beat him. The deputy police chief, one of the friendliest people I've met. I was sitting in the city building one day. Someone was having trouble finding something. That young lady went and gave them instructions, welcomed them to our city, and was as nice as could be.
I bet you it could be tough.
I
when
bet
she
Dave
needs
Gallus will help you get that neighborhood watch started.
Be
Dave,
glad to. Sure.
why
be
not?
glad
Huh?
to.
And we go
Absolutely.
talk to the chief. Maybe he'll get you an officer, get someone to help you.
Okay.
And we will help get the resources from there to your neighborhood. You know why? Because we care about Las Cruces. We love our city.
Yes.
Isn't that right, Dave?
It all starts with the people that get elected.
That's it.
And they will
you know
listen.
what? Please vote. Please vote. Please make your voice heard. Vote. And I'm going to tell you something. You know how you can send a message out? On election day, when it get in that line. And you know what? We all say, well, line's too long. No. Let's get a line in there showing we're serious. This is a line of solidarity and unity for our city. We're going to take back our city, and we're going to make it the best place in America to live in. This is Mike Tellez. I want to thank you for joining us today. Dave, thank you very much
Thank
for
you,
coming
Mike.
on.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you for joining us with Mike Tellez Show. My name is Mike Tellez.